6th Infantry may have walked into a German trap that day near Anzio, but what they left behind wasn't just German casualties. It was proof that when Americans fight with proper training, inspired leadership, and unshakable determination, no trap is strong enough to contain them. A powerful message of hope and resilience that continues to inspire American soldiers to this day. That's the legacy of William Darby and his Rangers, the understanding that in warfare, as in life, ordinary Americans can achieve the impossible when they're led by someone willing to show them the way forward, no matter how dangerous that path might be. A testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the transformative impact of inspiring leadership. In the end, Darby's greatest victory